And yeah, so we're going to stay in the city of Brussels, which is in the northern province of Flanders. And so in the north they speak Dutch. In the south they speak French. But in the city of Brussels they speak both languages. So you will see in the streets if you see a street sign, it's in two different languages. One is Dutch, one is French. So this is a bilingual country with a very different population in the north and the south. So we're going to see first the famous Atomium Monument. Okay, it was built for one of the World Expositions which was happening in Belgium, and so this monument was created for the World Exposition, but later on they decided to keep it. It's the same as the Eiffel Tower. So Eiffel Tower was also built for a grand exposition, which is like back then was like a big tourist thing to come to a world exposition to show off the scientific achievements of a place and showcasing all other things about their culture. So the French built the Eiffel Tower, and the Belgians created the Atomium Monument, also very famous. Okay, so we're going to stop over there. That's just right outside of the entrance of the city of Brussels. And once we finish up there, we will drive all the way to the city center, Grand Place, where we get to see these beautiful ornate buildings, the guild halls, the town hall, Hotel de Ville, and also we're going to see the famous monument, or I would say just rather it's just a small statue, fountain actually, Manneken Peace. Manneken Peace is the famous symbol for the city of Brussels. It's a small boy being. You know this? You will see. Anyway, so it's not a big thing, but a lot of people go there and expect something grand, but it's a very small, tiny little statue of a boy peeing. Okay, so that is famous Manneken Peace. Okay, so a little bit about the place of Belgium. So Belgium is in between all these big countries. So back in the day, it used to be inhabited by the people, a tribe of people called the Belgi. So they were fierce warriors back then, and they conquered many territories also in England. That happened before the Romans. But when the Romans came, famous Julius Caesar was the one who conquered the territory which belonged to the Belgi, and later incorporating into the Roman Empire. Later on in the 8th century, the area was occupied by the Franks, Germanic people, the Franks, and Charlemagne was actually born here, 1786. So Charlemagne was the great Charles the Great, who was the most famous of the Frankish kings. In his time, the famous Franks conquered many of the territories of the old Roman Empire. So that was, we call the Frankish kingdom, okay? And the Franks were also occupying this area. Later on, Belgium, throughout the history, was becoming part of different larger nations. Once part of the historical Burgundian Netherlands, and later on part of the kingdom of the Habsburg Netherlands. So the northern part was always occupied by Dutch-speaking majority, and the south belonged to France, more or less, French-speaking. So later on, actually, this country is pretty new. It's a new country. The foundation of Belgium, as it is today, starts in 1830 with the revolution of the Belgians against the Spanish. So they took over from the Spanish Habsburgs, creating their own nation, which we call today Belgium. And it's a constitutional Okay, Belgian driver. We almost touched it. Yeah. Jeez. All right, no worries. We'll carry on. Yeah. So the Belgian Revolution in 1830, starting the new nation, and in the First World War, the Germans also attacked Belgium, and it's very famous. The Belgians are very famous for fighting very fiercely against the Germans. In the Second World War, also one of the most famous battles of the Second World War happens here, the Battle of the Bulge. It is in the Forest Ardennes region, and that was actually the last offensive trying to recapture Belgium by the Germans. Okay, so that was actually the last offensive Hitler made in order to fight back the Allied invasion, and that is a very famous area, the Battle of the Bulge, it's called. Yeah, so that is a very important part in the history of the Second World War. Because after defeating the Germans there, most of the places were freed up. So yeah, it is an interesting and important place in history. And then later on, in the modern days, after the Second World War, Belgium became one of the most influential countries of the region in the European Union. Also the founder of the Benelux agreement zone, later on creating the European Steel Community, and they also one of the founders of the European Union. Actually, the head of the European Union is in Brussels. Yeah, so the Parliament of the European Parliament is actually located in the city of Brussels. So it is the most significant in European politics, center for politics. And also the population is about 11.5 million people, a little bit more than that. Very diverse culturally. You have a lot of actually immigrants living here as well. And being a center for politics, it has the most diplomats living in a city in the world, right? Because all the great political things going down in Brussels. So they have a very high population density, and the largest city and most populated is the city of Brussels with more than 1 million people. So yeah, the Belgians are famous for many things actually that you know about today. For cartoons, like the old cartoons like Asterix and Obelix, that actually is telling the story of the Belgians, the old Belgian people, yeah, the tribes of the Belgi fighting against the Romans. It's very funny. You know that? Asterix?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Asterix and Obelix. Yeah, it's very famous. And then you have Tintin or the Smurfs. Yeah, Smurfs?
Yeah.
You know the Smurfs, right? So a lot of famous cartoons from that time period coming from probably your childhood, yeah? But even my childhood, I had these books, Asterix and Obelix, very famous, funny stories. You can maybe you have seen the movies as well, very funny. Mostly made for kids, kind of historical, and yeah, very very funny. What else? Yeah, so famous for cartoons. Even today, it's a center for many people who create cartoons, and yeah, so that is one of the main things for Brussels arts. And then also you have other things like the pool, billiard, you know, billiard balls. If you play pool, it is made about 90% of them made in Belgium. And also you have famous people here which are maybe well known, like Audrey Hepburn was actually from here, and Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Alphonse Sax, creator of the saxophone. If there was no saxophone, maybe no jazz music, right? So a lot of things make this place very unique, and also the Belgian fries, yeah, what we call French fries. But something about the story of some peasants living along this area, and they were fishermen. In the winter they would have no fish to fry because of frozen waters, so they would fry the potatoes, and that's how the story goes. And because the region was mostly French speaking, that's why they call it French fries. But actually it's Belgian fries, if we want to be correct. So fries is a big thing here as a street food, so similar to the Dutch, yeah. Frites, yeah, with mayonnaise, yeah. Frites with mayo. But here in Brussels, you have also the Brussels sprouts coming from here. Yeah, Brussels sprouts, very nice, yummy food, good healthy stuff. Yeah, and then also you have the main, like the most famous kind of dish here is mussels. Yeah, mussels cooked with some veggies, parsley, and steamed, right? And then comes with a side of French fries. Yeah, this very popular thing to try. So actually I will show you one street where you have all these nice restaurants serving the local food, and they have kind of set menus, so you can try their main course for the French fries and mussels, and also you can try the dessert, the Belgian waffles. Okay, so that's something I can recommend doing, so you can taste everything in one go. And then of course Belgian chocolate. The Belgian chocolate is world famous, and chocolate is everywhere basically. When we walk into the city, you will experience the best smelling city. Yeah, because it smells like waffles and chocolate everywhere. Chocolate fountains and chocolate stores, and many different stores actually, which offer a great variety of different types of chocolate. You have filled little chocolate things and handmade stuff. So very unique place. Chocolate is art here, and the world's largest exporter of chocolate is Belgium, and also the locals consume a lot of chocolate each year. So that is one of the things which is Belgians famous for. But not just that, but also the beer. Belgian beer. So if you guys, some of you like beer, definitely this is the place to try some. When you're having your lunch, you can order some nice local beer. They have more than 1,000 beers here, more than different types, 1,000, about 1,400 actually. Yeah. So and also the special thing here in Belgium, they're very particular about drinking from what glass you're drinking. So for each special beer you have a special glass made for just that beer. Yeah. So if you want to try all, you have to buy all. No, but actually don't need to, because you'll get very drunk quick. They have a famous one is Affingen, and also the Duvel. Duvel means devil. So the devil's beer, which is actually very nice beer. And then yeah, so in the main square you also find a very nice place, which is the beer museum. In the beer museum also you get to taste a bit of beer and go inside and have a look how the process of making the Belgian beer goes. So that's also very interesting for those who are interested in certain aspect of that. Yes, so those are the main things. So the next stop, we are going to stop by the city just outside. Actually also the palace of the king is also located just outside of the city of Brussels. So we're going to pass by it. You're going to have a quick peek at it. And the next stop will be about, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on traffic. It's going to be some heavy traffic around Antwerp. It's very busy because, as you see, a lot of goods being transported in and out. It's a kind of industrial area we're going to go through soon. Next to Antwerp, you will see a huge industrial city because it's a port, and there's also have like some chemical plantations and so on. Yeah, so once we reach the area of Brussels, we're going to stop by the famous Atomium Monument. Okay, Brussels is very famous also for many thieves and pickpockets. So in anywhere we go, you have to watch out, because we had many times people losing bags and so on. Okay, so make sure. Also, getting off the bus, I will keep watching an eye on the bus doors, because sometimes even people try to sneak into the bus when you're taking the photos. So we will close the bus and we will not let anyone in or out.